Hi, this is Melanie Morrison with Sacred Shifts LLC. Excuse me, I'm playing with new tech here. I promised to come on today to talk about Mercury retrograde, and I'm really excited to get started with the conversation. I brought on a good friend of mine, John Ferris, and he recently stepped away from astrology and is finding himself quite empowered, especially as we step into Mercury retrograde. For those of you who haven't heard of Mercury retrograde, it is often that space that happens a couple of times a year that is believed to give troubles with communication, with technology, with travel. And let's see what else: communication, technology, travel, time, that sort of things. And so sometimes people will refuse to travel during that time. Sometimes people will refuse to do online events. And I'd like to just take a step away and look at it from a more empowered place. I know some really good things about Mercury retrograde is it gives us the reminder to clean up some spaces. So I do like that aspect of redoing or completing projects. I really enjoy that a lot. But I wanted to bring in John Ferris to introduce himself and share a little bit of perspective on how he believes it should be. So in the meantime, I'm going to give you just some backstory, some back history on how to really connect, or back history, and then also let you know how to really connect and align during this time. So the history of Mercury retrograde is that during the times where all of our communication and all of things being delivered was done by ships, the ships started to notice that it was messing up with the winds, and it was messing with the traveling on the boats. And so, things would be delivered not on time, communicate, because everything in communication was all about, everything was by ship. So communications would be delayed. And so that's something that was kind of adopted later in astrology. And so a lot of us have a lot of tension around when Mercury retrograde comes. And so it's kind of big to be like, I'm going to go live and do some technology stuff and communicate with you on Mercury retrograde. So, and where I find the power in that is that when we look at our relationship with unexpected events, how can we heal our relationship with unexpected events? I mean, quite honestly, I feel like this whole year's been in Mercury retrograde. So I was like, bring it on. I'm going to still do my work through Mercury retrograde. So, so I'm going to just let you know that in order for me to see your comments, and I'm going to go to the comments now because I'd love to hear like your thoughts and your comments. So in order to do that, I just need you to go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and this just allows you, and I will see if I can post it right in here. Let me see. Command V, boom. So what that does is it just, yes, it worked. So what that does is it just allows you to come in and join us in the comments, and so that John Ferris's peeps can come in and say hello too. So going back to Mercury retrograde, we kind of went through like the history of it, but I want to just visit those few things. So we have time, tech. I have my little notebook here. Time, tech, communication, and dealing with the unexpected. So I think that a big one is time, especially for those who spend a lot of time creating. Sometimes those who are a bit of star seeds. I feel like we sometimes need to heal our relationship with time. And so I personally had an example of, I felt like I was just so frustrated with the fact that we have so much structure. I mean, there was something in me that just felt like time was just this restriction on my life. And so when I set out to heal my relationship with time, and then I thought of it as, okay, well, I operate in this beautiful flow, this mother flow of time. That's how I create, is I just flow with time. I get lost in time. I just really flow. And then marrying it with some structure. So I allowed myself some structure, and I married it with the feminine. So the masculine aspect, and I married it with the feminine aspect, and put together, after I had intended to heal that relationship, I was able to really birth in all of my creations. So healing, making an intent to heal your relationship with anything can be very, very powerful. And so my intention for our time together is for anyone and everyone listening to really be able to heal their relationship with Mercury retrograde, and heal their relationship with communication, time, and text. So I'm going to pull in John Ferris and just let him introduce himself. Say hello.
Hey guys, John Ferris here from John Ferris Visionary Arts, and here in Sedona. And super honored, Melanie, to be on the show today, and super looking forward to what we have to talk about, and really looking forward to explaining my perspective. I super honor everybody's thoughts on what they feel about Mercury retrograde and astrology in general. And yeah, let's get this party started. What would you want to open the discussion, Melly?
Yeah, well, before we start talking, I'd love for you to just share, because not everybody, I mean, I know this, like, you create this amazing artwork, and you're a beautiful creator.
Thank you
I
so
would
much.
love to have you share a little bit more about you and your work and what inspires you. Yeah, just, if you don't mind, just share a little bit with all the
Okay.
people who may not have really had a chance to connect with you and what you create.
Oh, beautiful. Someone the other day was really asking me to share the story, and I was looking for a video of that, but it's kind of way back in my lives. But I'll just give my humble beginnings of these are the amulets that I make, and I work with a lot of crystals and gemstones and whatnot, and um, they are talisman. They are activational tools. They're way more than just jewelry. They have a lot of energy and vibration that help harmonize and uplift people's fields. They've been tested on a radionics machine to have a self-sustaining vitality rating. And I got started back in 2010. This is kind of a new thing for me in my years here on Earth, and it was more of a trick of the universe. I was living in Northern California at the time, and doing jewelry was not even on my radar. And I went into a friend's shop one day and fell in love with this amulet that had all these silver weaves and curls and about 7 tourmalines in it. I just couldn't take my eyes off of it. You know, it was one of those things that really touched me. And the next day, my friend that owned the shop, she gave me a call, and she's like, "Ferris, you got to bring that back. I wasn't supposed to sell that to you. It was my partner's." And I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "No way. You're kidding
Yeah.
me." So I was like, okay, that's it. I'm going to learn how to make one of these for myself. And, I wasn't planning on getting into it as a career or a business or anything like that. And about a month or so later, I just was amazed with the gift that I had that was coming through. I was already really good at it, and obviously been still refining myself and in continual process with that. But then people started liking them and buying them. So I put a website together, and was shooting out all these emails to galleries around the country. And Sedona was one of the places that picked me up. And so that initiated a huge change in my life, and sold my house in the Redwoods and came to Sedona, and started this journey with my art. And it's been a real learning experience, and a real growth for me. To My relationship with my jewelry and my art is a reflection of my relationship with myself, and I had to learn that through the years of um, being coming through a lot of self-worth and self-love, growth, I would have to say. And back when I started, I could probably I wasn't comfortable charging more than $80 or $100 for my work. It was like, um, it's been a great, heart opening and a great journey for me. And I'm really just deeply honored and touched to share this gift that I have, because it seems to help a lot of people that are attracted to my work. Um, I would say that they are moving into a new level of their lives, and these amulets help them upgrade into that new level.
Yeah, no, they are definitely powerful and beautiful. I have seen them. So
Mhm.
we'll have to well, I would like if we could leave a link when we're done, just so that people can see. I think you need to really see like a good visual, because they are just magical and beautiful. And
Uh,
John Ferris will be in the Vibe Up event. So the Vibe Up event is going to be some Facebook Live shopping that will
oh
be
yeah,
November 14th to November 18th. So if you want to catch him and really see his stuff, we'll have his display set up so you can take a look at his stuff. But you know what I love about that, John, is just the fact that the way you describe it is that you followed your inner guidance, and you connected with your true inspiration,
yep,
and from there you just created. And to me it didn't sound like you had any attachment to it. It was just like, I'm going to create because this feels
yeah,
good, feels in alignment with who I am. And then I love that you share like the beautiful journey of self-discovery, as you started to present your work to the world and really shine your light. That's pretty awesome.
yeah. Yeah, it was a real up-leveling experience over these last 10 years here in Sedona. It's like, whoa,
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
growth. So yeah, good stuff.
Well, I'm glad we were able to share that. And just so you know, we have a few people commenting. I don't know if you can see in comments, but
No, I
you'll
can't see that. Let's see.
yeah. So sometimes you have to click it. But if people are commenting on Facebook and we're not seeing it, it's because they haven't signed into StreamYard yet. Mark
Okay,
Hall says
can we
hello.
can we share how to do that again? Of
Yeah, so I've posted in
my
comments
people.
the StreamYard.com Facebook link. But you know what? If you want to lead the discussion on Mercury retrograde, I will take a minute here and post also in the Facebook comments, so people can we can pull them up and they can join the fun. Okay?
Beautiful, beautiful.
All right. All right.
Okay, so are you ready, guys? Here we go. So I I would say about 3 months ago, I up until about 3 months ago, it was most like everybody else, and got astrology reports sent in my email box from people that I really enjoyed listening to what they had to say about what was coming up. And you know, I'd have to admit, over the years, I've got a little glitchy around Mercury retrograde, and like, oh my God, here you got to prepare for this and hope things don't go crazy and haywire and whatnot. And I was just really kind of in that mindset. And then about 3 months ago, I was like, you know what? I really want to explore this, and um, just stop listening to astrology reports, and stop paying attention to Mercury retrograde as having an adverse effect on my life. And I go back to when I was a kid. I was like, or let me ask you this: when you were a kid, did you ever have any retrogrades, Mercury retrogrades? It's like, well, maybe they happened, but weren't really aware of them, or you didn't really pay attention to them. And so that was kind of the beginning of that. And I was like, well, if I'm going to take charge of creating my own reality, then I'm going to be discerning about what information I really let kind of program me. I was like, okay, well, you get a astrology report or Mercury retrograde is coming up. It's like, okay, well, is I have to prepare myself or kind of get in a mindset to kind of ease the foibles of that. You know what I mean? And so 3 months ago, I just stopped paying attention to it. I gave it no more energy, and I felt amazing. I have uh, like I how would I say this? I don't. I am a person that gets up in the morning and does my meditation and sets my intentions for the day, and without the added distraction for me anyway of having these things that I'm reading that are I'm allowing me to or allowing I'm allowing in that are kind of setting the tone in my mental state about what's going to happen or has happened. And we go back to the basic premise: energy follows attention. And if I am just keeping my energy on joy and miracles, for example, in my day, or unexpected joyful surprises, or however you want to say it, or then that's what I can expect. And so I've really shifted my whole um, mental state into that reality. And I certainly am. I am certainly only one single perspective on this planet of 7 billion people, and I certainly honor and respect everyone's thoughts about reality creation and Mercury retrogrades and astrology in general. So, that's just how I live my life and how I'm flowing through this uh, this world. um, go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Melanie.
no, I really do love that. I think that it's so empowering to really just step into, um, whatever your path is, and be
Yeah,
okay with that. And that doesn't mean, for me, I may explore different paths, and it's and maybe for a time I need to explore that path. I mean, there was a time in my
sure.
life where I was very strictly religious and I wasn't open to anything, psychic work or any of that stuff. And then, a lot of stuff got unpacked and I stepped into it. I pulled away and then I
Yeah,
stepped, so there, I think that we definitely do this beautiful spiral, when we're
sure.
alone, is that sometimes we let go of things for a while, sometimes we come back to it, sometimes we never come back to it. We are changed forever. But
Yeah,
I think the most empowering thing we can do is just make our own choices and not feel
yeah,
like you have to step from like one box to the next. Oh,
yeah.
Irma K. Sawyer, she is a beautiful astrologer of mine, Bright Star Astrology. She said Mercury retrograde has gifts too. Yes, thank you. Actually, and so John and I were just talking about this before we went on. I follow the moon cycles because I feel like it's so powerful for me because I truly am connected to the moon cycles. When the
Yeah,
new moon comes, there are times where I just feel like I need to go so deeply inward that it's necessary for me to kind of step back for a bit. And so I've learned to really look at my real relationship with the moon cycles. And then when the full moon comes, I'm like, woo, ready to expand. It's not
exactly.
always like that, but it helps me. I find, using the moon cycles empowering. And so, because it
Nice.
helps me like really pay attention to an aspect within me. And so I kind of like to look at Mercury retrograde like that too. Like I said, like earlier, I was like, I feel like this whole year has been in Mercury retrograde.
Right?
Whoa.
Crazy.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Irma mentions, like the gifts, and she has a post that I can't see here, but I definitely do think that Mercury retrograde has some gifts for me, because for me, I do take it as that gentle reminder of like when I'm communicating, maybe I need to communicate like more in person. And it's just like, for instance, if we have a problem with someone, like I'm sure you have the option of like venting on Facebook. Or we could be more mindful and say, well, maybe I'll have a heart to heart conversation with that person. And so I think it
sure.
just, you know, it reminds us to look at how we communicate and if we're doing it in like a grounded, heart centered way. For me, I use technology a lot, like a lot. I have to try not to sleep with my phone. And so Mercury retrograde, which I could use like that reminder all the time, I'm reminded that like I need to step back from technology and I need to go outside without my phone. I need to not be responding to texts. I need to be present and earth. But those are good reminders anytime. I think what
Sure.
I like about, when we have those things come up, they're like just these gentle nudges. And for me, I like to start a lot of projects. And when I see Mercury retrograde, I think, okay, what did I start and not finish? And so
Ah, yes.
and so it gives me that gentle reminder. But yeah, I mean, even I had a client of mine, beautiful person. She said, "Oh, Mel, like the full moon came, and I didn't feel like doing any of the work that you taught me." I said, "Well, then don't. Yeah, nothing
Right.
bad happens." And she said, "Oh, I thought maybe something bad would happen." I said, no, it's a reminder to step into your power, and so we certainly don't wanna step into out of one box and into the other for sure. So I love that you brought it up and are discussing it with me today. Did you have
Yeah,
anything you
it's
wanted
really,
to add to that?
yeah, absolutely. I have a couple more points on that we discussed right before we had come on,
Mhm.
and um, one of them is, I guess the takeaway uh, that I want to share is that we all have the power to follow what we want and follow what resonates with us. For example, I was just for an example, I looked up. I work with a lot of crystals, so I looked up uh, the meaning of labradorite today. Okay, and it's that shiny stone that's super pretty, and move it in the light there. And I, I only went to the first page of Google and just went through the different sites that had the meaning of labradorite on it, and pretty much there was five different viewpoints on labradorite. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? It's like, well, where exactly, who came up with that in the beginning, and what is real with that? Which one is, and it comes back to, it's the one that resonates with, it's the one that you believe. And belief beliefs are an interesting thing. Another point that we were talking about is, well, we're sitting around a campfire and nobody in their right mind would stick their hand in and grab out a hot coal, right? It's like, okay, well, we believe that that's going to be a dangerous move for us. And at the same time, there's people that walk across 20 feet of hot coals and don't burn their feet. So, you know, um, it's really an invitation to explore your belief systems and why is that real for me, and um, who really came up with astrology, and for the people that it resonates with, it resonates strongly, and I super honor that path for everyone. And like I said, I'm not the end all with my humble perspective. Everybody's got their perspective. There's 7 billion of them on the planet
Right.
right now. It seems like, and they're all valid. They all back to source. Their small corner of their reality, and it feeds the greater divine source.
That's so
So, right,
yeah.
Ed?
So it's funny. I don't know. I know I'm going to be a little bit off topic, but when you mentioned labradorite, I was like, ah! Like I just lit up because labradorite was my first stone when I first started learning how to connect. So, and I love exactly what you said. It resonates with me so much because when I
Nice.
started to explore stones, I didn't start with the book. I started with exploring it, and I started writing down, and just I would go to this shop. I was in Colorado, and there's this beautiful shop, and they had them everywhere. And so I would just feel into it, and I'd pick up one, and I'd say, "Oh, well, is it warm in my hands? Do I like how it feels?" And of course, they probably thought I was kind of weird, but there's that weird crystal lady that picks up 100 and buys one $3 stone. But and then I came across labradorite. I thought, "Oh my gosh, I love this stone. What is it?" And so it's really the first stone I really started to form a relationship with.
Oh, funny. Funny, I
Yeah.
picked one, right?
Yeah, well, and the funny thing is I never I didn't read onto it, like, until much later, but I would hold it, and for some reason, I felt like it really eased a bit of social anxiety that I had. And
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I really felt that, and then when I would hold it, I felt like this almost like grabbing of my head, like, I'm just like, "Oh, it's so interesting." I feel like it's, like, shifting something in my mind, my brain, like, expanding. It felt good. And so this is what I
Beautiful.
did. I went home and my 12-year-old son was laying in the couch, and I said, "Hey, what do you feel when you hold this stone?" Well, my kids were used to that. Like, "What do you feel?" I'd say, "Well, you want to put love into this stone for me?" And it's just kind of what we did. We do. Of
Nice.
course, he's he's 22 today. Happy birthday, Alec. But
Nice.
so this 12-year-old kid holds the stone and he says, "I don't know how to say it, Mom. I don't know what's the word. It feels like lightning."
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, yeah,
Nice.
you are so right. There is just so much power because, that moment right there created this beautiful aha moment, this beautiful energy and connection that if I just would have read a book and said, "Oh, it's for that," I would have missed out on that whole beautiful explorative phase that
Yeah.
shifted me in big ways.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. It's the experience, uh, those organic experiences that really give us that resonance and those ahas, like you were saying. And um, what did I keep going? Keep going. That was to that
Yeah.
point.
I just want to pop in and kind of say hello to the people that I'm able to see. So Irma gave us that awesome tip on remembering, like, there's some really great aspects, and it depends on your perspective with astrology.
Yeah.
And then, which we talked about, and Mark says, oh, I want to show this comment. Let's see, then I can read it better. Navigation through retrograde, not around retrograde. Thank
Uh,
you. Kindness, love, both.
oh, thanks, Mark. Beautiful. Bless you, brother. That's awesome.
And then,
I didn't make your friend mad. Your friend Irma.
what? No, come on. You put everyone and have their own beliefs.
Yeah, everybody's got their own flavor.
I think
That's
everybody's
awesome.
mad enough about everything else. I don't think we need to add to the mad in the world.
No.
So,
Oh, well.
but uh, but then I wanted to acknowledge Sadiqua said, yes, it's a beautiful stone, my favorite actually. So hello, Sadiqua.
uh,
And I don't know. And Irma, you're so cute. I love Irma.
Yay!
Irma said, nope, not mad.
Peace, girl.
So awesome. I love
Nice.
it. We need to play together.
Nice. Peace, girl. Love you.
Okay.
That's,
So, and Lee Michael and Megan Jones say hello. So hello, Lee Michael, Megan Jones. I'm glad I was able to see your comments. I'm streaming through 3 different streams, so sometimes I don't get them all, but I'll always try to check back and say hello. So,
amazing.
we're all going through this time of shifting, and I wanted to give a few of my own personal nuggets of goodness.
Oh, nice.
I think really helps me and has helped me through this whole experience. So number 1 is healing my relationship with time. We talked about that. And then I have recently been doing this, and I think it's so empowering. Mindy says, sorry. Mindy Houston says, do you see me? Yes, girl, I see you.
Hey, Mindy.
And Irma says, fun talk today. Thank you. Thank you, Irma, for popping in. Love to hear
Yeah.
your comments.
Bless you, girl. Thank you.
So, but yeah, healing our relationship with technology, that's one thing I'm stepping into like now, right? So I'm
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
okay, so, because you talked about healing your relationship with money and self-worth. Look how
Yep.
powerful that was for you. And then,
Indeed.
so I've been really intending to heal my relationship with technology. And I think that's a useful tool during this time for sure.
Yeah, I
And
could use some healing there.
right? Yeah, just saying, like, being able to do something difficult and frustrating and always measuring my bounce back time. So the big nugget I'm giving for this time right now is bounce back time. There's always going to be somebody that misunderstands you or takes something that you do the wrong way. There's always going to be some sort of tech or big thing that you're up against to learn. There's always going to be challenges when we travel and with time. It happens all year, certainly.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that we can really remember is bounce back time. When the unexpected comes, we feel ourselves being rattled because things didn't go as planned. When things aren't working, and we feel like we're banging our head against the wall learning tech, or when someone really understands us, and it can break your heart. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they got this, and it's heartbreaking.
Yep.
How much time and energy are we going to give to that particular situation? And how much of our life force energy are we going to honor for being present, for going to the next step? So like when things don't work out, so that relationship with our bounce back time and really learning how, okay, well, this happened and it ruined my whole day. Maybe next time it happens, it might only ruin in an hour or two, and then I can shorten it and shorten it and shorten it to where I'm instantly going, okay, well, what else can I do? I'm not going to give my energy to this because it doesn't create returns. I love the concept of like considering your energy like money. I'm not going to invest it if it doesn't give me returns.
Yeah.
So investing my energy in what didn't happen and should have, blah, 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 doesn't give me any returns. Did you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I just to bounce off of that, it's I've learned to just redirect. I sometimes you need to push through and get something done or whatnot, but if it's not working in that moment, I'll just redirect instantly. Not instantly, but if it's like obviously not happening at that point in time, I definitely redirect and do something and come back later, and it's usually the energy charge is lifted off of it and it goes a little smoother. So yeah, indeed.
Yeah, no. That is so valuable. Sometimes I'm working on creating something and if I could just go for a walk or take a shower. I mean, sometimes, we're in the middle of this. I can just be like, okay, this isn't working. I'll see you later, John.
Wow.
But definitely. Yeah, I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple cards as we leave. I think I want
awesome.
Yeah, I think it'd just be fun,
Awesome.
not. So, and then you can reflect about the cards too. So I'm going to pull 3 cards, and
okay.
A good friend of mine, Melissa Kim Corder, she brought me on her coffee and cards, and she taught me, she taught me, I watched her how she did it, and I really liked it. And so what she did was she said, just choose one, 2, or 3. And so she gives that like choice and power for the audience to really tap into their own intuition. And I like it so much because I think that there's something huge about tapping into your own intuition and learning and practicing and like strengthening that muscle. So on that note, I'm gonna pull 3 cards, and so I'm gonna ask everyone, including you, if you want to play.
I totally do.
Yeah, to just connect with their soul, their heart. Take a deep breath and just say to yourself, or you can post, just number 1, number 2, or number 3. So whether you post or not, just go ahead and take the message. So, all right, on that note, okay, I'm there. On the note, I'm pulling from this deck. This is from my beautiful friend, Robin Carlton. She creates this all with her artwork, and I like it. Oh, there, can you see it? And I like it because she infuses it with her energy, and she channels in like these fairies, this fairy energy. And so I'm going to pull from her.
I see you.
Yeah? What's that?
Nothing. I was just saying.
Hi to someone?
Hi, Ginger. I didn't do that secretly. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Melanie. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I
got bounced back. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, so hi, Ginger. Okay.
A
So
new
that's card
alliance
number one.
of love. Oh,
So Ginger chose card number one. So I view all experiences through the lens of self-discovery.
oh, I
Ooh,
love that. That's a good,
yeah,
that's juicy.
yeah, definitely. So everything that's happening right now, we can always just step back and view it through the lens of self-discovery. Okay, so I'm gonna do also. I have all these decks from like friends. It just happens that way. So I have this beautiful deck, part of this book, 52 Weeks of Gratitude, that I really like. I think
Oh,
we all definitely use some gratitude. And so what this is several different authors, and several different authors that went with the book. A good friend of mine was in it, so I'm going to go ahead and pull one from there. A couple of friends, actually. Ooh, wow, that's deep.
is
So
this number two?
card number two is I'm grateful for the hidden treasures inside the pain you would never expect to be there.
Oh, I'm number two. That's what I chose. I number, yeah, that's
Okay,
beautiful.
so I don't go by the rules. So I actually chose two cards for number two.
Oh
This is
my God.
the other card.
What does it say?
I am
Uh,
grateful for being divinely guided and protected.
oh, nice. Sweet.
So those two came out for that one, and like I said, I just don't play by the rules. It's just what comes out comes out. So, and for
Yep.
card number three, a gift of love is no sacrifice, but a joy passed from one to another.
Oh, amazing.
I like this. So this is actually from the book, not to be all braggadocious, but this is from the book that I was able to co-author in with authors from around the world. I love like co-authoring. It's just something so powerful. But yeah, Kim Richardson does that, and she has a new project called 365 Days of Self-Love that she's doing with a lot of authors. I think I've stepped onto that one. I'll let you know how
Beautiful.
it goes.
Yeah, you'll have to share your products and services here somewhere, eh?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, my
In the
service.
Vibe Shop.
Yeah, I'm not selling anything right now. I just have, on my webpage. But Vibe Up is really going to take a lot of my energy, so I'm really focusing there. And then I have my
Okay.
clients that I love to do work with. So I want to do one more. Okay, this is the
Uh,
bank deck because this is all of us. I love this deck. It's always
wow.
so deep and so juicy. So we're gonna end on a bang with one of these.
Let's do it, girl.
So, okay. So I have my book ready because I will probably read from this because this author created some beautiful work here. So why don't you do this with me? Why don't you tell me when to stop?
Okay. Okay. Stop.
Stop the button.
Do that. Do the flip. Are you gonna do one more shuffle? Yeah. Okay, now
Okay.
stop.
Okay, cool. That was fun.
I didn't know where you were gonna stop.
Look at that.
What does it
And
say?
and adaptability.
Oh,
Ooh, this is so
nice.
on point. So it's card
Gosh.
number one, adaptability. Oh my God. I'm excited that we're so I'm gonna find it really quick. It's one, so it should be here. And
Early.
what's that?
I said that bus is early.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. You told me. Okay, so I'm gonna just hold up and read here. Sometimes you find yourself unable to respond to life's challenges. You're holding too tightly to an image of how things should be. It's hard to adapt to changing circumstances when you are so connected to familiar conditions or an old identity. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Um, or maybe too attached to a the form of your desired outcome. And when things go in a different direction, you resist. Have no fear. Instead, love these changes, be open and curious. Goddess Anne embodies the power to move between worlds without judgment, separately shift from one form to the other. Trust whatever you are bumping up against will dissolve through your willingness to simply be with what is and allow the magic to reveal itself.
Wow, I love that. Beautiful
Yeah,
artwork. My
that's
God.
a good note to end on.
That's awesome.
So thank you so much for joining us today. Do you have anything that you wanted to share? Just one little last nugget of like for a lot of people that are
Yeah, we'll let the bus go by.
yeah, right? Okay. For people that may be struggling, or for, I really loved that we started with this, with you sharing your work and how you stepped into really creating from the heart. So I know there are a lot of people out there that are really have a spiritual gift, or they have, this beautiful art that they create from, and they're just not quite sure how to step into the empowerment of sharing, like you were able to. So do you have like a little piece of like goodness that you could really give them, or to really be able to step into that powerful feeling of creating?
Absolutely. I feel like that our kind of our fear of being seen, or whatever that is you're coming up against when you think about it, and then, okay, well, now I'm gonna put that off till tomorrow, or I'm just gonna go on Facebook or something like that right now. It's just realize that these when we come up against a fear of anything, jumping off a diving board, or writing a book, or putting yourself live on Facebook, or whatever it is, there's the gift is on the other side of that, and there's always going to be a tension, this membrane that we have to step through, and I feel like that's the edge of our being, of our capability, of who we are, our identity, and then once we jump through that or step through that, then we're like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm in a new level here. I still get nervous when I do my lives, or even showing a new piece of art that I've made that isn't really in my normal thing. Like I had this little sculpture that I made 3 days ago, and I still haven't posted it. I was like, oh my God, what are you waiting for, dude? And
Right.
and I think that all comes down to um, uh, how we feel about others' opinions of us. And I've really done a lot of work with that over the last 6 months, and really stretched myself, and have a little bit thicker skin on how I, expressing myself, or being my authentic self. And I've seen these little membranes that I've had to punch through to step into my larger version of myself with my sculptures, my larger sculptures. I've been talking about that for years, really, and just had a major success with being able to have a commissioned larger sculpture, and it just went out last week. So I'm really excited about the possibilities that for all of us that take that leap into something that kind of scares us a little bit or whatnot. And another thought I had was really what this whole thing was about with Mercury Retrograde, and just relax, relax your feelings with it, whether if it's like it makes you tense or pensive or something like that. Just it's really what your attitude towards it that dictates how it's going to affect you. It's kind of like Mondays used to be a terrible day for most folks. It's like Monday, oh my God, it's Monday, and this I got a flat tire, and
Right.
oh, it's like, what was that? It was just a mental game we were playing with ourselves, and so go ahead.
No, I love that, but you do realize you just added to that beautiful toolbox of Mercury retrograde gifts because when they do retrograde, they always do re. And I love it that you have relax, relax. That's how they name
I
all
didn't
the
play that.
rituals. They go redo, but relax.
Relax.
Really big
Yeah,
one.
just relax. Yeah.
But just before we leave here, I just wanted to say and make note of the comments. It looks like Mindy Lipton says, let's see, do you
Hi,
see this?
Mindy.
Yeah, she says,
Mindy said a lot.
let me show this. Hey, that's not what we're here for.
What'd she
Okay.
say?
She said, my thought today was no hocus pocus. I'm just going to focus. I love that. No focus. I'm just going to focus.
Beautiful.
And then Mark says, thank you, Melanie, and thank you, John, for sharing today. And I'm sure we have a lot of other comments, but not all of them are coming up. So it was lovely meeting with you today and wishing you all lovely rest of your week. And we'll catch up again on the next Mindful Mondays or Wise Wednesdays. Take care. Big love. Bye-bye.